the show notes below for more resources about this week's topic, and for the time code to skip this introduction entirely and jump straight to the more advanced grounding strategies, tips, and demos we're going to be talking about today. So, if I'm honest, it's been bothering me. Back in the second episode, I talked about breathing strategies to help calm our mind when we're really anxious or really feeling down. We talked about how breathing strategies can be helpful if we catch the emotional reactions before they go too far. But I don't feel like I talked enough about what that means exactly and what we can do to add to those breathing strategies or what we can do when they don't work. So, today I'm going to go a bit more in depth about why breathing strategies may not work so well to help calm you down, and I'll go over some other options to help bring you back to feeling more like the person that you want to be instead of just swinging wherever your thoughts and feelings try to take you. The technical term we therapists use for this would be grounding, or like a boat dropping an anchor so it doesn't get swept out to sea in a storm. And speaking of storms, let's talk about those terrible emotional storms we have sometimes. The wild, sudden swings in mood, taking us from 0 to 60 in seconds to anger or anxiety. And let's not leave out the other extremes, when sadness, tiredness, brain fog, lack of motivation, or forgetfulness just kind of roll in on us like a thick fog. Sometimes it feels like old memories completely take us over. We catch a smell or someone touches us in a particular way, and all of a sudden, we're taken back in time. We suddenly act childish, or we're flooded with rage, or our body goes completely numb. Sometimes, personal tragedies we never could have predicted throw us into an emotional tailspin. But even on average days, most of us feel drained sometimes by little annoyances that build up over time, and we barely notice the build-up. Maybe we feel nervous or constantly impatient or annoyed or always down, and we don't know why. Maybe every day it's a little bit harder to go to school or to work, or maybe the time of year gets us down. Or physical symptoms, poor sleep, dehydration, poor nutrition, financial stress, fights in relationships, and there are more stressors in life. But I hope you're getting the idea. Mix together any of the above, and you can end up with hurricanes of emotions, arguments with people you love, and lost productivity. So, kind of makes sense that spending a few minutes breathing won't do too much sometimes, to handle so many waves of stress that we go through. Or, in the case of body image issues or gender dysphoria, especially with folks who identify as transgender, any kind of attention on the breath would actually trigger more upset emotions, or at least it could. Not for everybody. So, welcome to Grounding Level 2, Beyond Breath Focus. Let's start with symptoms we called hyperarousal a few episodes back. This looks like nervousness, twitchy muscles, trouble sleeping, racing thoughts, anger, impatience. In your brain, your fight or flight system gets triggered by adrenaline hormones. You breathe faster, your heart beats faster, you have more energy. Well, nature designed us to burn off this kind of energy through physical activity. So, getting the body moving can be helpful. Just be careful not to push yourself too hard. If your adrenaline is surging too much, you're at greater risk of pushing yourself too hard and hurting yourself. But this kind of grounding doesn't have to be too complicated. You can shovel the walkway. You can do some working out at home or in the gym. Some find yoga, Tai Chi, or Pilates helpful. These are all great ways of releasing tension and emotion. For those more sports-oriented, you get the added benefit of teammates, connecting somewhat with other people while burning off that adrenaline. You can have some fun outdoor activities. You can go for a jog or run, maybe for a walk on a trail or in the woods. You can do some cleaning around the house. Ah, okay. Now I can see a little bit better. Wait. Maybe you need to clean your side. You can... I said you can pop some earphones in, crank up the music, and dance for a few minutes. Or have a 1-minute dance party with friends, or your partner, or your kids. You can think about springtime. Okay, that's maybe more of a distraction. Now, for those who've been paying attention, we don't just have to deal with feeling ramped up with emotion. What about when we feel really tired, drained, shut down, depressed, or unmotivated? Well, strategies above might help, since getting the body moving would help counter that shutdown reaction. But it's important to really pull back your expectations. Maybe a short walk around the house instead of a jog, or a few stretches instead of a full yoga workout. Drinking some cold water can be very grounding, and sometimes we're low energy because we're dehydrated. Washing your hands slowly, noticing the feeling of water on your skin. Some folks find that meditation can help. You can find some guided meditations on YouTube which focus on the breath, or avoid a breath focus. You can find those too. Usually I like to practice by bringing my fingertips as close together as I can and focusing all of my attention on the very tips of my fingers. Taking a shower or bath can be helpful. Closing your eyes and noticing the smells of soap, the feeling of the water on your skin. Again, you'll want to be careful not to burn yourself, since your skin may be more numb than usual when you're flooded with fight, flight, freeze, or submit reactions. Spending a bit of time coloring can be helpful. If you prefer reading, remember to be realistic with yourself. You may not be able to keep your attention on what you're doing. Just remind yourself you're practicing being a bit like your normal self till you can think clearly again. Working on a hobby can also help bring you back to reality. See if you can convince yourself to just do a little bit, even if your mind tells you that you can't. Listening to music can be helpful too, and my teen clients usually appreciate this one. But if you're older, well, maybe rediscover some old tunes and find your inner teenager. Cooking can also be helpful. Keep it simple and really notice the smells, tastes, maybe your mouth watering. Don't try for perfect meals. The goal is to get you reconnected to the world. Video gaming is a controversial topic, but it beats just staying in bed. Pay attention to your gaming, though. Make sure it doesn't just turn you into a different kind of checked out from your life. Maybe even just sitting outdoors, noticing smells, sounds, the feeling of the air on your skin can help bring you back to reality. Another approach comes from dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT, where you can sink your face into a bowl or sink of water. This can be good for quickly settling down all kinds of agitated or shut down emotional reactions. Another really intense example called hyperventilation. It can actually feel like we can't breathe. This is usually because you're trying to fill lungs with oxygen which are already full. Your fingers and toes may be tingly, and you might be afraid you're going to pass out. Sometimes a quick fix for this would be breathing into a paper bag. The beauty of this approach is you don't have to think about your breath. Just fill the bag. And for younger kids needing to calm themselves down at home, parent and child can put a little toy or teddy bear, or maybe a origami frog, on their bellies. Practice together noticing the rise and fall of the toy, and try to slow down how often it rises and falls. Whew, okay. That's around 20 strategies or so. Hopefully that gives you some more options to consider. If you have more, I would love it if we could start a conversation about it. Feel free to weigh in the comments below, share what worked for you, and maybe help out someone else in need. In the meantime, thank you so much for tuning in yet again. Try to be kind to yourself and talk to you soon.